Hi everyone, it's Tiffany from Daisy Farm Crafts, and today I'm going to do a tutorial for you for this darling little hat. This is going to be called the Baby Maude hat. And what's great about this hat is that I have found these pom-poms on Amazon that are snaps. And this is like a little 4-inch size. So these are perfect for little baby hats. So it was a whole pack, I think for $10, and I got all sorts of colors. So if Hannah decides she doesn't want it to be white that day, we can switch it out for black. I think this really, I was so excited to find these. It was super easy to sew this on at the end of the project. So I'll put a link to these to our Amazon store. We are an Amazon affiliate, so we thank you for purchasing through our link if that works out well for you. But anyway, let's get started on this tutorial that actually it can work with any yarn. I'm just going to demonstrate the Bernat Softy Baby Cotton with a G hook. Now, in order to make this adjustable and make it any size, what you really want to do is chain 4 inches here. And then I'm going to have a hat size guide on my website that will tell you the inches that you need for here to here. So this turned out to be, so we've got 4 inches for the brim, and then the rest of the hat we have about 5 inches. So this is about a newborn to 3-month size hat. So all total you would do about an 8.5 inch chain. Okay, so that I'm going to make this hat, just this one in pink, since I'm going to be making another one. I'm going to make this one for baby Kate, and I'm going to do it in the 12-month to 24 months. I am going to be chaining this one to be about 11 inches. Okay. Okay, I decided to change color and do the darker color. I have 52 chains. So that was 11 inches. So after you make your chain that's 11 inches long, what I want you to do is count the first 20 chains and mark that. And that should be about 4 inches. So if you want to measure that and make sure, it should be about 4 inches for 20 chains if you're using this yarn. Now, if you have different yarn, just go ahead and measure the 4 inches and place a stitch marker, just so you'll know. So we're going to start at the top of the hat. And the first 5 stitches are going to be slip stitches. So keep these a little bit loose, but we always work these slip stitches. This helps bring in the top of the hat, make it not quite so bulky when we have to gather it in at the top. Okay, so there's the first 5 slip stitches. And now for this row, we're just going to make single crochets into each chain. So continue making 1 single crochet into 1 chain. Now when you get to the marked stitch, go ahead and just remove the stitch marker, make the single crochet, and then replace the stitch marker underneath those 2 little V's that you just made. Now just for this row, it will be regular single crochet because we're working into the chain. But once we chain and turn, this is the portion that will be back loop only single crochet. And so having that last stitch marked will really help us keep track of the ribbing portion of the hat for the brim. Okay, when we're at the end of the row, we will chain 1 and turn our work. Try to turn your work like a page in the book every time so it looks nice and neat at the bottom. And for the very first stitch, we're always going to work a regular single crochet underneath both V's. This gives the brim a very nice look. This is the bottom of our hat. Now we're going to work into the back loop, single crochet. So if you can see, I'm inserting my hook down in between that V and working into the back loop. This will give us a nice little ridge. They call this a cornrow. Sometimes we call it ribbing, single crochet ribbing. This will help give your hat a little bit of stretch around the forehead. So we will work this stitch all the way up to that marked stitch. Okay, we're to the marked stitch. We're going to remove it, work our back loop single crochet. That signifies that's the last back loop single crochet of this portion. Remark this so we know that's when we'll start in the back loop next time we turn. And now what we're going to do is still single crochet, but we are alternating which loop we're going to work in. So we just were working in the back loop. Now we're going to work 1 in the front loop, 1 in the back loop. We're alternating all the way up until we get to those 5 slip stitches. So back loop, single crochet, front loop. And for me, the last stitch before those 5 slip stitches was a front loop, but you may end differently. It really doesn't matter. The important thing is to just alternate those stitches. Now I'm to the final 5, and I'm going to work a back loop slip stitch. Keep these really quite loose. Make it easier on yourself. And if you have a hard time seeing slip stitches, I'm gonna recommend that you mark that stitch that we just made, that you'll know that that's where the slip stitches start. So I'm just keeping these really loose. Here's number 4. And still with number 5, I just work into the back loop there. This one kind of gets buried a little bit. Got it? It gets easier as the hat gets bigger. Keep it super loose, chain 1, I'm turning, and we're going to begin again. So let's work 5 slip stitches. And again, if that's hard for you to see, go ahead and just mark that one if you want to make sure that that's where the slip stitches start. And let's alternate. And I'm going to start in the front loop. It does not matter if you want to start back loop, front loop. I have noticed that the stitch just looks the same. The important thing is that we're just alternating front loop, back loop. The only thing that really I can show you on the other hat I made and why I'm insisting and love the stitch marker idea is that I kind of lost track of where the ribbing began. So I thought, okay, just keep a stitch marker there. Then that way when it gets, you know, so I don't have to count so much. Now you might be recognizing this stitch. This is a stitch I used in Kate's newborn baby bonnet. I'll leave a link to that too in this post or wherever you're seeing this video on YouTube or in our blog post. I just think it's so dainty and so pretty, but it's gonna look really pretty on any type of yarn that you choose to use. Okay, so I'm to my marked stitch. I happen to end on a front loop, totally fine. You might end on a back loop, but I just know that I'm gonna start my back loop single crochet, immediately mark it right after I make it. And now work all back loop single crochet for okay, so you're just going to keep working that. So this is what you'll have once you finish all these rows, and you're going to want to make it about 3 inches less than the circumference of the hat that you need. So I need this to be about 14. It's measuring, well, 11 and a half, but I can stretch this part out to 14 rather well. You'll be good there. So all you're going to do is fold this over. We're going to get our tapestry needle, and I didn't leave myself a long enough tail. Make sure when you cut this off, you're cutting yourself a long tail. And we're gonna go ahead and sew up this side. So what I like to do is grab a tapestry needle, thread that through, and just work underneath the loops and definitely underneath the loop of that starting chain. And I just usually work around and around. I'm doing the first stitch twice. And we're going to seam this right up. I think I'm gonna go into the back loop and then underneath the 2 V's. I think that'll disguise our seam just a little bit more. So catch this back loop, catch underneath the 2 little V's, and pull through. So I'll be seaming that all the way up, and then I'll gather this around. All right, so I had to grab myself another tail of sewing. So anyway, I ran out of yarn there, but so I just add in, continue sewing around. And here I am at the top, and now I am just simply going to work my needle in and out these stitches along the top, and that will gather this in. Just doing underneath those very top stitches here. And we actually will go around a couple times to continue to pull that in. So, okay, so I've done 1 round, and of course we still have like a hole right there. So what I'm going to do is go around again. I just feed my needle through these stitches again and keep pulling it tighter closed. So I'm gonna go around a couple times. Okay, now I've got it in pretty good tight. I just keep pulling it tight. I've gone around about 3 times. And here is something I have found on Amazon that I'm going to tell you about that I think is going to be a game changer. Is I found little faux fur pom-poms. This is a small size. This is a 4-inch size, maybe 3-inch for little kids. You want the 6-inch size for adults. But I'm going to sew this snap on, and then we're just going to snap the pom-pom on. So before I finish off, I'm just going to secure this. There we go. I tested it before it went through. So there we go. I'm going to secure this snap onto the top of the hat. So thank you so much for stopping by for the baby Maude hat pattern. So cute. I hope it turns out so well for you. I can't wait to see the different colors, and I am going to be making a few more of these, especially finish up this one in Peyton's Canadiana. I think they're so beautiful. And I mean, look at that. So easy to just do the snap. Finally. Something really easy and fun. So anyway, you have a wonderful day.